Hi everyone, this is Nora Goodman. I'm making this video as a continuation of the video that I made in 2012 called Green Card Abuse. I've done a lot more research since then, and I have some more information to give you. Green card abuse is actually called marriage fraud, and it is against the law in the United States of America. So I'm going to give you some more information. I'm going to rehash the information that I gave in the previous video in 2012, and then I'm going to add some more information to it. So the typical perpetrator, I will call them a perpetrator because marriage fraud is a criminal act. And then I will call the person that gets used a victim. So the perpetrator will find the victim online, Facebook, chat rooms, Instagram, dating sites, and various other places. Or they will find the victim in a tourist area in their country, or they might even find them in the USA, and the perpetrator will have already been here on a tourist visa or a student visa, and that visa is about to run out or it has expired. So there's all of these factors involved, and I will cover each one of them. So the first one I will cover will be you're in a tourist area in their country, in a third world country. It's Egypt, Morocco, Africa, Mexico. There's plenty of other countries. Okay, you're a tourist there. They find you there. They could be a waiter or a waitress. They could just be hanging out, offering to give you some services of tourism. They could be taxi drivers. And they could ask you out, or ask you to do things with them or offer their services to you. And that's how you meet. And then you'll go back to your country, and then you'll continue chatting, and then they will, when you're talking online or by the phone, they will ask you to marry. Or you might meet them on a website like Facebook, Instagram, or dating sites, and they will start talking to you and charming you, and then take you out of those websites and talk to you over Viber or other on the phone, so you can Skype, so you can talk face to face. And most of these people are young, in their late teens, 20s, and early 30s, and they go after people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and even sometimes 70s. So the other people are here on tourist visas or student visas, and they're about to expire, or they are not going to school, and so they can't keep their visa up, and so they need to get married urgently. So they will be trying to find someone to get married to right away, and they will be in a hurry. So all these factors that are involved, we need to talk about, because people who ask you to marry them right away have an urgent reason for it. Now, that's the kind of thing you don't want to get involved in. You don't want to get caught up in that, because they will be talking to you and charming you. You're an older person. They're younger. They're good looking. And they'll tell you basically anything you want to know, anything you want to hear. They will tell you it. Perhaps you're lonely. You're going through midlife crisis. You've been in an abusive relationship. You don't feel you're as attractive, and why would this younger person be charming me? Well, there's some factors involved. Whenever you petition for someone to stay in the United States or come to the United States, you have to, most likely they're older, because you have to be on the job for a certain amount of time, and you have to be making a certain amount of money to petition for someone to come to your country or stay in your country. And if you don't make enough money, you have to get what they call a co-sponsor. And not too many people want to be a co-sponsor, because whenever you sponsor for anyone to stay in your country, you are responsible for them financially for 2 years or longer until they get established here. And our government feels that 2 years or longer is the right amount of time for somebody to get established. So those are some factors that are involved. So let's talk about some other things. The person, this young charming boy or girl, will go after people that are 15, 20, 30, even 30 years older because of those reasons I told you. And then they'll go after people who maybe sometimes even have disabilities, which is really sad. So, and then they'll invite you to their country. And who will pay for that? You will, because they're not going to have enough money to pay for you to go to their country. And in the meantime, while they're chatting with you, they'll even talk marriage or get engaged within a few weeks to a month after you just started talking to them, which is not typical behavior, but these people are urgent. Remember, they're desperate. So you go to their country, and let's use Morocco as an example. I'm not just focusing on Morocco, but let's use Morocco as an example because I've seen these typical Moroccan weddings where the woman or the man goes there, and the woman, she's, let's use a woman as an example. She gets the typical Moroccan wedding where she gets the kiss on the forehead from the guy. They drink the milk and eat the figs. She has at least 2 or 3 different beautiful gowns that she changes into. She's the queen for the day, you know, and they have music playing, and they'll be the groom's family and friends will be there, and it will just be a wonderful moment. And they will go to the beach or whatever, and they'll draw the heart in the sand with their names, and they'll get camel rides, and it just be paradise, a beautiful moment. But in the meantime, she's not getting much support from her family because her family isn't really approving it, because there's 15 to 25 years difference between her and this young guy. Her family is afraid that she's going to be used, but she's in love and she's being charmed, and she's just not listening to them. So she'll go into these chat room, these pages and on Facebook and stuff to try to get support, because she's starting to feel isolated. So she'll go and become members of these chat rooms to get support from other people who have petitioned for their spouses to come to the United States. And so, and then in the meantime, before he gets or she gets approved, some red flags are starting to come up. Maybe he's not coming to the cam as much as he was or she was. Maybe you can't get a hold of him or her. Maybe you're seeing some differences. But you've already started petitioning, and so you don't want to pull back the petition. Oh, maybe it'll work out. Maybe it'll work out. Oh, and then you start doubting yourself. And so then there's some other factors involved, not just the age. You'll mention your age to the guy or the girl, and they'll go, age is not just a number. Well, yeah, it is a number, but there's a lot of factors involved whenever there is a big age gap. As a matter of fact, immigration is trying to make a law now to where there can't be more than 12 years difference between the spouses, the people you petition for, which is a good thing. And then you have to consider religion. Now, what if he's a Muslim and you're a Christian or Jewish? Muslims can marry a Christian or a Jew, but Christians and Jews are not supposed to marry Muslims because you'll be unevenly yoked. Sometimes the Muslim would tell you, oh, I'll become a Christian. But that's not true, because a Muslim, if he's a true Muslim, he won't just leave his religion to become a Christian so he can get married. If he says that, he's lying. Okay? So you have the religion, you have the age difference, and then they'll just tell you it doesn't matter. But in the long run, it does matter. It really, really does matter. They're just telling you what they think you want to hear. Now you say, oh, there's such a big age difference. I can't have any more kids. Oh, we don't need any kids. If God's willing to give us kids, that's fine. I don't want kids anyway. He will eventually want kids. So keep these things in mind. Now, in the meantime, you're not getting support from your family because your family thinks you're doing the wrong thing. And you're in love, you're being charmed, and you're blinded by these facts. Okay, so you go to his country, you get married, come back to the United States, you petition. The petitions cost money. Who's going to pay for them? You are. He can't afford to. So you're in the process. You're waiting. You're waiting. You're waiting. Your gets approved over here. Let's say it gets approved over here. And then the other part of it gets sent over to his country, waiting for him to get approved, him to go for his interview. He could get approved. He couldn't get approved. You never know all the factors. I'm not immigration, so I don't know how they do that. Okay, let's see. Say he goes to his interview, and he could have 1 or 2 interviews. Some people do. Some people don't. Okay, let's say he gets approved. She gets approved. Come over to the United States. Who's going to pay for him to come to the United States? You are. So, gets to the United States. Sometimes, depending on the petition you applied for, could have his work visa right away. Maybe he won't get it till he comes here. Depends on the petition. I don't know all the petitions, so I can't tell you. So, who's going to take care of him? You are. As a matter of fact, it doesn't matter if he gets a job right away or not. You're going to be responsible. And if you have a co-sponsor, they're going to be responsible for taking care of him or her for at least 2 years. So, he comes here, taking care of him. Do not, I repeat, do not put their name, his or her name, on your house right away. You wait until after they get approved before you make any major purchases. Do not buy and invest into home. Do not buy and invest into a car. If the person needs a car, get them a little clunker. Do not, I repeat, do not buy a car, buy a home, make any major purchases until you know for sure that this person is going to be legit. Wait a few years. In the meantime, buy him a little clunker. You don't need to invest in a house with him right away. You wait. Be wise. Be very wise. And if you have kids, the kids are going to get involved in his or her life. You know, your family's going to get involved in his or her life. So be very, very cautious. All right. So 8 out of 10 of these marriages don't work. They do not work. I've been watching them for years. They do not work. The guy or the girl waits until after they get approved, and then they will leave you. Okay? The girl, she will make up stories and say there's domestic violence involved, that you beat her, that you hit her, and she will make excuses to leave the marriage. The guy, oftentimes, he knows you by then, by 2 or 3 years, he knows your weaknesses. He will push you and push you and push you and fight with you. All of a sudden, fight with you and be abusive and mean and to force you to say, I want a divorce. He will force you to say you want out of the marriage. And then that gives him the opportunity to leave. Or they just leave. One day you come home from work and they're gone. They've left and they file for divorce. So you have all these factors involved. But I want to let you know, I'm warning you now. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Get to know the person very well before you decide to marry a foreigner and go to their country. Make sure there isn't a big age gap. Because I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, they will use you. They will want you to send gifts and money to their country. Some of them are here and they've already been married in their country. They have a wife and kids back there. And they're here for whatever reason, going to school, tourist visa, and they will marry you here in this country. They could have been married the Islamic way there. And then they will marry you here in this country through the legal system. And then they will have you taking care of them. And before you know it, they're sending your money over to their wife and kids over there. So no, be very, very wise. Do not marry somebody you just met. Do not send money overseas to people who you don't hardly know. There are people who are criminals, and they're not afraid to use you or anyone else to get what they want, because desperate people do desperate things. So I'm telling you, I'm warning you, I'm giving you all these facts. Pay attention to them. Do not be blind. Do not be blind, ladies and gentlemen. Pay attention and be wise. Be very wise. Thank you. I hope I've helped someone. There is a petition. If you have been criminally used by marriage fraud, there is a petition. I'm going to put the link down below that you can sign, because they're actually trying to take this to Congress to get it approved, for the laws to change, for our women and men to stop being abused and used here in the United States by people coming from other countries into our country, using our men and women, and then leaving them. That's a criminal act. So if you have had this happen to you, go to your immigration office. Go to USCIS and file a report. You can file one online, and you can file one at your immigration office. They won't be able to do anything at the beginning, because if the person's already been approved, your husband or your wife has already been approved, immigration can't do anything about it. But if they have performed an illegal act, a red flag will come up because of your statement that you give at immigration office. A red flag will come up, and they could be deported. If they try to leave the country, a red flag will come up because you have reported, okay? If they go to try to file for their citizenship later, after they've been approved for their green card, a red flag's going to come up. Whether or not they're going to get approved for their citizenship is another story. So your voice will count. Make sure, if you have been used for the green card fraud, no, it's a criminal act. You do have a voice in the matter. You go to immigration office, USCIS, and you make a report. I'm telling you, make a report. Your voice does matter. There's a petition going around to get the laws changed for immigration. Your voice does matter. I will leave links below. Please be a voice, and please be wise. Thank you. Bye.